Marcellus Wiley over at Fox Sports 1, this dude deserves a raise. Instead of Fox paying Skip Bayless 3, 4, 5, however many millions of dollars every year they're paying him to be a follower, to drive the woke train. Actually, he doesn't drive the woke train. He's a passenger on the woke train. They ought to give all the money that they're paying Skip Bayless to Marcellus Wiley. We need 100 Marcellus Wileys in the sports community. A black man who speaks truth, who isn't agenda driven, who tells it like it is. He's like another Charles Barkley. Though nothing against Charles Barkley, Marcellus Wiley is much more eloquent and well-spoken. But that's okay. That's okay. Charles Barkley speaks the truth too. That's all that matters. You got to realize how much courage that it takes to do what Marcellus Wiley did last week. I'm going to get into what he said about LeBron James here in just a second, but I want you guys to understand how much courage this took. He works at a sports network that is supremely woke. They are overrun by woke. They didn't renew Jason Whitlock's contract last year, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine Jason Whitlock being so outspoken against LeBron James and the woke community had something to do with his departure from Fox Sports. That's just my opinion, but I really believe that was the case. So let's get into what happened. Obviously by now, I hope all of you guys know that LeBron James tweeted out a picture of a cop in Columbus, Ohio, who had shot a black teenage girl because she was trying to stab another black teenage girl. LeBron tweeted out the cop's picture with an hourglass beside it, and it said, "You're next." This is a threat. This is a threat against that cop's life. LeBron James has over 50 million Twitter followers. He knew what he was doing. He knows that he has influence over other woke idiots. I think Adam Silver should have suspended LeBron James over this. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen. The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and the ratings are already in the tank. Adam Silver needs LeBron James for the playoffs, or at least he thinks he does. I think more people don't watch the NBA because of LeBron than do at this point. But LeBron should have been suspended over this tweet. There should have been at least some form of punishment. Let me tell you why. All we keep hearing out of the wokers, all we keep hearing out of LeBron James is equality, right? Everyone should be treated equally, right? That's what we keep hearing. Now, you tell me what Adam Silver would have done had a guy like JJ Redick tweeted the exact same thing that LeBron did, except instead of tweeting it about a cop, he tweeted about a leader of Black Lives Matter. Do you think Adam Silver would have sat back and just said nothing? No. JJ Redick would have been kicked out of the NBA in seconds. That's one of the problems I have with LeBron James and the NBA right now. This equality that they constantly talk about, it is not a two-way street. It's not real equality. It's only equality when it fits their agenda. This is kind of the same thing that Marcellus Wiley was saying about LeBron. I'm going to read his comments to you. I wish I could play the audio in the video, but YouTube will copyright strike my video if I do that. So I'm going to read what Marcellus Wiley said last week about LeBron James. I apologize about the length. We'll break into it here and there, but it's important to read all of it. Here we go. Quote, "You can't do this. You can't be that irresponsible if you're LeBron James. Emotions can't trump logic, and that's what's happening. Your agenda can't go before your acumen. You can't pander before your principles." Let me just stop right there for a second. Excellent choice of words by Marcellus Wiley. Pander. That is exactly what LeBron James is doing. He is pandering. He will say that he is defending people that are less fortunate than him. But what he's really doing, he is pandering to political activists, pandering to groups like Black Lives Matter. Let's keep going. This next part, Marcellus Wiley is talking about LeBron saying America's a broken system. Quote, the same system that is so broken, it allows you to become a billionaire and never get arrested in it. But the system is broken? I would love to hear that story of how you became LeBron James against all odds, instead of always professing the odds are against all people, end quote. Now let's stop here again. I said the same thing last week. LeBron James is ruining his legacy right now. Before all of the political pandering, LeBron James was a classic example of an American success story. He was an actual role model to young children. I used to praise him because he rose to fame during the age of social media, where if you're a celebrity or anybody with a public profile, nothing is private. Yet we have never heard about one scandal involving LeBron James. Never a sexual harassment allegation, never an allegation that he cheated on his wife, gambling, you name it. Whatever negative, we've never heard it about LeBron. LeBron was always viewed as a family man who was a great father, and that's what he is. But now, LeBron James has lost all credibility with at minimum half the NBA audience. This dude had the audacity to say that he was actually afraid to leave his house, his mansion, because of fear of being shot by the police. Never mind the fact that, as far as I know, in LeBron's 36 years on this planet, he has never had any interaction with the police, at least any negative interaction with them. He's never been arrested. Hell, I don't think he's ever been given a speeding ticket. If LeBron were to get pulled over and he's actually driving instead of being chauffeured around, he is more likely to give an autograph to a cop than to be given a ticket or a hard time. I find it amusing that LeBron is so anti-police, but when you see him walking off the floor in an NBA arena, who's walking beside him? Cops. The same cops that he is supposedly afraid of. When he goes out in public, who's protecting him? Cops, security, the same people he's afraid of. Now, wait a minute now. Like I said, I thought he was afraid of cops. LeBron James is lying. He is allergic to being real. And I really think that LeBron knows that he's lying. He knows he's lying. The truth is, he is being used by these activist groups. Here's the thing. Groups like Black Lives Matter, they realize that they can't get the public on their side based off of their agenda alone, because it's flawed. Their agenda is flawed. It's based on a myth. It doesn't have substance. But if they can get a guy like LeBron James on their side, someone who has a platform, someone who has influence, they can get their agenda pushed to the masses. And that is exactly what is going on. I'm about to show you how the platform of Black Lives Matter, of this notion that cops are hunting down black people, is a lie. Marcellus Wiley proved the point for us. Here is the final quote from him. Quote, LeBron James says, I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. How about this sentence instead of that? I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed. Or, I'm so damn tired of just seeing people killed. 250 black people are killed by police every year. That's 250 too many. But in the macro sense, there are about 7,500 homicides to black people every year as well. I'm not saying LeBron has to put the focus on that fully, but let's be responsible. There's 7,500 in totality that never get the discussion because the people with the platform are not highlighting that, end quote. 250 black people killed by police, that's too many. It is too many. One is too many. But when you look at the millions and millions of police interactions with black people every year, with people in general every year, that number, 250, that's not even close to 1%. The last thing Marcellus Wiley said, I believe, is what really discredits LeBron James. He only focuses on black people being murdered when it comes at the hands of a white cop. 7,500 black people killed every year. Just 3.3% of that number are at the hands of the police. Now, it seems to me If LeBron really cared about black lives, he would be focused on the other 96.7%. Like I said earlier, LeBron James has ruined his legacy. I don't think there's any way that he can come back from the stain that he has put on his legacy the last 2 years. He's lost all credibility with half the American public. When people think of LeBron James now, they don't think of a basketball star. They think of a political activist, a social justice warrior. He doesn't have enough time left in his NBA career to repair his image. His days of prime basketball, they're coming to an end. And you know what? Maybe LeBron James is okay with that. Maybe he's thinking about a political career after basketball, which is frightening when you think about it, considering the fact that LeBron knows absolutely nothing about politics. He has proven that over and over. But when it comes to his legacy in the NBA, the past 2 years are going to come back and haunt him in the future. He will be remembered as one of the greatest to ever play the game. And he'll also be remembered as the guy who tarnished his public image and his legacy. Good for Marcellus Wiley for having the courage to call out LeBron James. It is nice to see guys like him, Charles Barkley, on TV. Guys who aren't afraid of being real, aren't afraid of speaking the truth, and aren't afraid to take a stand against people in their own community who they know are doing more harm than good. Now, what do you guys think of Marcellus Wiley calling out LeBron James? Do you agree with him? Also, in your opinion, has LeBron James forever tarnished his NBA legacy? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.